So a couple of weeks ago on the Geek Girl Pen Pals YouTube channel, Jenny did a fantasy tag, and I'm going to do that tag today. You are getting a lot of tag videos on this channel. I'm okay with that. So, I think I'm ready. Favorite fantasy realm would have to be Middle-earth. So I'm pretty sure that that's exactly what Jenny said, but you know, it's amazing. It's one of the most developed of the older fantasy genres. It was also the first one that I can ever remember getting really into. I mean, I read Narnia when I was a little kid, but in terms of really big fantasy, that was the first one I ever really loved. So there you go. Favorite fantasy book or series? Also gonna have to go with Harry Potter. So it's just so good, and again, so well done, so well written. Every online community that I'm part of is connected back to the Harry Potter fandom, so it's connected to a lot of stuff. That's how it is. Favorite type of fantasy? It really depends. It depends entirely on the story, on the writing. There are so many different subgenres of fantasy. Sometimes I like an urban fantasy, sometimes I like a high fantasy. It just depends. Can I just pick Discworld? That's my favorite type of fantasy. Favorite fantasy film? Star Wars. Hear me out. A lot of people are going to be going, oh my gosh, that's science fiction. How can you confuse? I'm not confusing the two. I present to you that a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away can still be fantasy, and in fact it has much more in common with epic sagas and with Lord of the Rings and with mythology and all of that than it has in common with, say, Star Trek. It's much more fantasy than it is sci-fi, at least in my mind, and it is pretty epic and amazing. Favorite fantasy show? So this one's a little old. There was a mini series called 10th Kingdom. I still love 10th Kingdom. I watch it fairly regularly and still thoroughly enjoy it, so check it out if you've never seen it. Favorite fantasy game? I have a couple. I used to love the game Fable, and I really liked Fable 2, and as the series progressed I liked them less. I wasn't as big a fan of Fable 3, and then when it switched where you had to do the interactive stuff, like the actual, I don't know if it was on the Kinect or whatever, I wasn't into it after that. I also used to really like the Baldur's Gate games, and we have our original Xbox so we can still play those because they're fun. Favorite fantasy comic? I'm not super into comics. I read the My Little Pony comics. You've probably heard me talk about that before. That's fantasy, right? Favorite new fantasy thing I would recommend would be, this isn't new, this is an older book, but she's still writing. Robin McKinley. If you have not checked out Robin McKinley, you absolutely should. This is The Blue Sword. She runs the gamut of high fantasy to urban vampire type stuff, but this is like not Twilight. So just check out Robin McKinley. Go to her Goodreads page, to her author page, read through her book list, and pick something. It's all good. It's all good. So that's it for me. I hope that you have enjoyed this little peek into my favorite fantasy things. If you were watching this, then I tag you to do it too. Be sure to let me know if you film a response video, and tag it with hashtag IggleTube so we can add it to the bigger playlist. Bye. Am I in focus? I can't even tell. Oh my gosh. I was editing this video and realized my favorite fantasy comic is Earth Song by Crystal Yates. I will put the link in the description. It is so good, and I've been reading it for over 10 years. It's a webcomic. It's totally free, so you can check it out. Go read Earth Song. Just do it.